Hey everybody, welcome back to another short video presentation. And before we get into the topic of voter ID, which I think is pretty topical given that it was at the center of the Queen's speech, I do want to remind you that if you're watching and you're following me here on YouTube, you really need to also subscribe to me on Brand YouTube, on BitChute, or indeed on Odyssey. These are the other channels where we can speak freely. So please, if you have a second, just hit the clicks in the link below and you can go hop over and subscribe and get exclusive content over there. Okay, let's talk about this remarkable headline. It's in The Guardian, so we know it's trash, but nonetheless, this is following the headline you can read. Mandatory voter ID would dangerously undermine UK democracy, says Jess Garland. And Jess was on, the subheadline there is, the best electoral systems, the most inclusive. The government plan will lock out many legitimate voters. So here we go on to read about this is the lefty take on it. Proposals to introduce that people can prove their identity as unveiled in the Queen's speech, or a dangerous attack on our democratic rights that could lead to millions of legit voters being locked out of the polling station on election day. And if you don't buy that one, how about it's estimated the implementing these proposals could cost up to 20 gazillion billion pounds per election, a hefty price for an unnecessary policy and an expensive distraction from the real issues that affect our democracy. The real issues that affect our democracy being that the left can't win, by the way. That's the real issue that affects our democracy. Now, there's more garbage here. For example, whilst the government claims the potential for voter fraud is there, the evidence that exists is hard to find. Gosh, it's so hard to find that pesky evidence, isn't it? Oh, and Tower Hamlets, isn't that a Labour stronghold? Oh, and that's the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is this, that the political left rely on fraudulent votes, and they have done for quite a time, insisting that if you want to vote, you carry some form of identity to prove that you are who you say you are is eminently sensible. And I fully support it. And that's how it should be. You must be able to prove that you're the person that you say you are. And if you can't, then lots of questions have to be asked. And the left will conjure up all these reasons about, oh, well, some old granny who's never had reason in her whole life ever to have any form of identity. Come on, get up. You know, we know what your game is, lefties. We know that what you're trying to do is sustain the vote packing that goes on in certain lefty constituencies around the country. Predominantly, well, I'm talking Labour, really. It's Labour constituencies, and particularly Labour in this inner city constituencies. But, you know, don't get me wrong. I don't think that voter ID goes anywhere near enough. I think we also have to look at postal votes, and I think we should be introducing legislation to basically ensure that postal votes can only be handed out in the most extreme circumstances where it can be proven that the person is incapable of going to a polling station and casting their vote. Because let's be honest about it, postal votes is another absolute prime source of voter manipulation and electoral rigging for the left. So we should make sure that, one, we insist on voter ID for everyone who goes to a polling station. And two, we should make sure that just about everyone does go to the polling station, apart from those who got medical reasons where they cannot attend a polling station. And even then, we should have further means of whereby they have to prove that they are exactly who they are. Now, we know in 2020, an election took place in a particular part of the world where a significant postal vote may have made a difference to the incredibly legitimate result, of course. But we don't want this in the UK. We can't have essentially vote rigging going on at any level, be it people misrepresenting who they are or postal vote harvesting. Both those things should stop. It frightens the left that these things should stop, because if these things were knocked on the head, it would mean that all of a sudden you'd find their voter base would contract even more. And that's why they squeal like stuck pigs at this legislation. I fully support the government in this regard, and I want the government to go much further in this and make sure that literally every vote cast is a fully legal, authenticated vote. Or at least that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comment thread below, and catch you later.